Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Triple Threat Show. I am your host, Jeremy Lapidus. Today is a beautiful Tuesday, October 21st. It is October 21st. That is this year a national holiday on our sports calendar, boys, because the NBA is back tonight. Tip-off has already gone through. The Houston Rockets, with a brand new toy in Kevin Durant, open up the season against the reigning champions, the Oklahoma City Thunder, who bring back just about everybody, up 5 just about halfway through the third quarter, 65-60 as it stands right now. We're going to go through all of the biggest news around the NBA, give you our ultimate guide to the 2025-2026 NBA season, so you don't have any questions about anything. Who's going to win each award, who's going to make the playoffs, and who, at the end of the day, is going to win the NBA championship. We'll also get into some World Series stuff today as that is set. The Toronto Blue Jays take on the Los Angeles Dodgers in a truly World Series International edition here on the Triple Threat Show. But to join me today, help me break down the NBA, help me break down the World Series matchup, it's a full stable. We have Mehrob Fatemi and we have Nolan Jambor. Welcome in, everybody. Let's start off in the NBA today. Let's start off in the Eastern Conference. We have a lot of stuff to go over with, so I just want to brush by a couple teams that I'm sorry if you're a fan of. I'm sorry. It's just not going to be your year. I fall into a category right here, so I'm eliminating myself right off the bat. Look, if you're a Wizards fan, that's me, you're not going to have a good time this season. If you're a Hornets fan, you're not going to have a good time. If you're a Raptors, a Nets, or a Bulls fan, the best, you can throw the Heat in this conversation as well. I think the best you can hope for is a play-in berth, right? Even if you make the play, and I don't necessarily think you're going to be true threats, these are the teams in the East that I don't really see having a huge shot as far as getting anything done, or really any shot at all at making any noise in the playoffs. Now, the East, I will say, is wide open. So I think there are legitimately 9 teams that could come out of the East this year because of all the injuries to Tyrese Halliburton, to Jason Tatum, all of these major stars going down, and then the discomfort, the unhappiness of Giannis over in Milwaukee shake things up a whole bunch more. There's a lot of things we could go over, but just starting in the East, there's just a couple teams I don't really think have a shot. Am I reading this room correctly? Is this the way that you're feeling about 9-ish teams have any kind of claim to the Eastern Conference title?
Most like open, just conference ever. I think mine might be a little too much. I don't think enough of those teams are. I don't think I'd say probably 6, maybe 5. I don't think enough teams in the East are good enough to compete for an Eastern Conference title, but I think there's enough teams that still compete for a title. I think it's probably like 6 or 5.
So here's what I'll say. I think as far as truly being contenders, there's 6, maybe 7 teams that I could truly see as, I wouldn't be that surprised if they won the East. There's a couple other teams in there that I think have a shot, just because you never know in this wild world of basketball what's going to happen, especially with an East as open as it is. But I think you really can bring it down to like 4, 5, or 6 teams. I want to talk about the teams that I don't think are quite there. The ones that I would be shocked if they won the East based on how it's going. I'm going to throw that over to you, Mehrob. I don't think the Pacers have much of a shot this year. They came out of the East, obviously, last year. They don't have Tyrese Halliburton. That's the main reason they're not on my list. The 76ers also fall into this category because I just don't know what the health is going to be. This is a team that could be the best team in the East if they're fully healthy, but I don't know if you can really rely on that. So I'd be kind of surprised if they made any kind of deep runs. The Pistons, I just don't think they have the depth outside of, the starting lineup. I don't think they're quite there. They're going to be good. They're going to be a playoff team, but I don't think they're really a true contender in the East right now. And then I'm throwing the Hawks into this conversation as well. I love the move that the Hawks made in the offseason. I love bringing in Porzingis. I love signing Dyson Daniels to that cheap contract. I love building around Trey the way that they have. I really think they made a lot of great moves. And I think they've solidified themselves as a threat in the East. But as far as a team that can win it all, I just don't know if Trey Young has that kind of ability in him right now. I know he's taken his teams to the Eastern Conference Finals before, but he wasn't able to get it done there, and I don't think enough around him has changed for him to be able to carry this team deep into the playoffs.
I think that's fair. Starting with the Hawks, I mean, you're already seeing rumors around Trey Young possibly getting moved out of Atlanta before the trade deadline. So they're a team that stands right out as a team that kind of needs to start the season pretty hot to keep a superstar level talent like a Trey Young right now. Outside of them, there's not a whole lot that's really going on in the NBA, in the Eastern Conference at least. I agree with the Pistons. The Pistons are going to be a hard-fought team. They're going to scratch tooth and nail to try and make – I think their ceiling is kind of just like an Eastern Conference final. I don't see a whole lot more than that. But in terms of a dark horse team that could come out of the Eastern Conference outside of a Cleveland, outside of a Boston, shout out the Orlando Magic. They're a team that's really starting to piece it together, and I really like this Orlando Magic team.
Let me get right into it then, because these are my contenders. The Orlando Magic are my team coming out of the East. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I think the Magic come out of the East this year. I love the moves that they've made, okay? But the teams around them that I think have a shot, right? The Milwaukee Bucks. You have Giannis. You have a chance. The Bucks made some moves this offseason. They freed up some money. They bring in a couple guys, that can help. Miles Turner is going to come in, help up that front court. There's a lot of small moves that they made. I don't know if it's enough, but you have Giannis, you have a chance, even though they've been first-round exits 4 years in a row. No Dame anymore. I'm curious how that's going to go as far as the Bucks. But 3 Antetokounmpo brothers on one team is kind of scary.
I mean, no
anything
doubt.
to keep Giannis. Got to keep Giannis somehow, right? You got to keep his family there.
Keep him happy. You have
Keep him
to
there
keep him happy. But there's four main teams, Nolan. 4 main teams here. And let's start with that Orlando Magic team, a team that I've told you I've got coming out of the East. This is an Orlando Magic team that quietly has been one of the better ones in the NBA. If they had stayed healthy last season, they were probably going to be the 2 seed in the East. They lost a lot of players to health. The Wagner brothers were in and out of the lineup. Banchero was in and out of the lineup. Suggs was in and out of the lineup. And then you go and you trade, granted, a lot for Desmond Bane. And the reason I love that move so much, it's not like Desmond Bane is going to be the engine that makes that offense run. But the thing that the Magic have had during this little era of success, I'll call it right now, the Banchero era, is they've had elite defense. They just can't make threes. They just can't hit a 3. You add Desmond Bane to that mix, a elite 3-point shooter, and a guy that can fit into your defensive schemes. That doesn't mess with the team chemistry at all. It doesn't mess with anything. You just have a guy that can go out there and catch fire for you. Help spread the floor. Help Banchero get to the rim where he's the most comfortable, because he is really, really good at basketball quietly. This is a Magic team I think are going to put a lot of people on notice as long as they stay healthy this year.
I think that's not ridiculous to say, but I think them jumping from an 8 seed to making the play-in last year, losing first round to the Cavs, and jumping all the way to the winning the East, I think that's maybe a little too much of a jump in my opinion. They're going to be a good team. Like last year, like you said, they are a defensive-heavy team. That's why they won so many games last year, because it's not because they weren't scoring a lot. It's because they were holding teams to just enough so they could win games. And adding Desmond Bane, like you said, who's a good 3-point shooter, will definitely help with that. And adding the rookie Jace Richardson out of Michigan State. Sorry, I love Michigan State add on there. But I mean, he was an elite 3-point shooter for State, and I think that them adding him could definitely add some actual, besides Bane, adding another good 3-point shooter and a reliable shooter outside the arc. But I mean, the team itself, even after they traded Suggs for Bane, I mean, the team is great. They still have their entire same team, besides adding Bane. Paolo Banchero, one of the best forwards in the league. You have the Wagner twins. You have Desmond Bane now. You have Jake Richardson. You have a good team. This is a good team. I don't think they'll, in my opinion, I don't think they'll come out of the East, but I could see them being, 3 seed or higher this year.
Yeah, there's a lot of places to go here, and I understand the concern around the Orlando Magic. I do. But again, if they stay healthy, that team was like a top 3 seed in the East last year. I swear to God, hand to God, I swear on the Bible. I believe it. I truly do. But let's talk about some of these other teams, because there's 3 true top-heavy teams. I want to start with the Celtics here, Mehrob, because they're one of the more interesting ones. There's been rumblings of Jason Tatum attempting to play this year. And if he does, that assumed wide open East suddenly doesn't seem nearly as wide open. Now this team's still going to be really good even without Jason Tatum. You still have Jaylen Brown, who really, really good at basketball, by the way. You also have Derek White, who's one of the more underrated players in the league, coming up, is going to play a much bigger role, right? You have stars still up and down this roster if you're the Boston Celtics, but that question of, can we get Jason Tatum back? Can this truly not be a lost year for our young team that's trying to build a dynasty a little bit? This Celtics team is going to be good. I just don't know how good, and it all depends on health, specifically Jason Tatum's.
I think this is a Celtics team that has all the pieces out. I think the only piece the Celtics team really needs to make itself another definitive contender to come out of the Eastern Conference. It already is a contender, but to make it the definitive choice to come out of the Eastern Conference is a center. You lose Al Horford in the offseason. You lose Kristaps Porzingis in the offseason. All you really sign is a Luka Garza. You still have Xavier Tillman. You sign a Chris Boucher. There just isn't anything that really stands out if you're the Celtics as a legitimate big man. Yes, Neemias Queta is a nice player, but you don't have a legit big man in that Celtics rotation to put in there at the 5 or the 4 spot, really, to really lead that offense in the paint. If this is an offense that wants to put up 3-pointers, it's going to need to have a big guy down there to either put shots off the glass, or just kick it back out to the outside shooter. That's what you're going to need if you're a Celtics player, or else every team is just going to sit on the outside and just guard the perimeter. So when I'm looking at this Celtics team, I'm looking at them to just really take care of the basketball, really try and find that definitive center position, power forward position, and if they can do that and they can get a Jason Tatum back, I think they're right back into the championship conversation.
Like I said, I completely agree with you. This is a team that should not, under any circumstances, be slept on at all, right? As far as centers go, there isn't much, but I mean, I'm still a little bit of a Luka Garza believer, not as a guy that you want playing 30 minutes a game, but I'm a believer that he could provide some use to a competitive basketball team the way he was playing in college. But that's a long time ago at this point. Outside the Celtics,
Big Ten Player of the Year.
Go for
Big
it.
Ten Player of the Year.
Yep,
I mean,
Big Ten Player of the Year.
I think he can be. I think he has not gotten a chance in the NBA to prove himself. He has not really gotten the opportunity. Yeah, he's not the center you want nowadays. He's not a 3-point shooter, but he's a big enough guy. And he was dominant. He was in the G League and he was doing great. I think if they give him a chance, I think he can prove himself this year. If they give him not starting minutes, but at least 15, 20 minutes a game, just kind of go out there, I think he can prove himself. I think he can. I hope he can. I want to see him do well.
We'll see. That center position, definitely a concern. 2 other top teams in the East for us here, guys. The New York Knicks are always so close, aren't they? They, on paper, I think have the best roster right now in the East, and they're the ones that I thought were going to go out and get Giannis or make a big trade for LeBron. They kind of stood still. They fired their coach, which they had to make a move. There's no doubt about it. They had to make a move. I don't know if that was a move out of something has to change or a move out of Tibbs wasn't the answer, but the move was made, and I don't necessarily hate it, right? We talked a lot about this a couple months ago when this first broke, but the Knicks didn't do much this offseason and are trying to run it back. They're not going to run into that Pacers team that's been their kryptonite 2 years in a row, most likely. That's not to say they can't, because this is a prime situation for them to run into each other in the first round. It's kind of setting up for that a little bit, but we will just have to see. Jalen Brunson going to be great. The question for the Knicks always heading into the postseason: are they going to be healthy, and are they going to show up? And those are the questions that I'll ask to you, Mehrob. What are your thoughts here on the Knicks this season?
This is an interesting Knicks team. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like, I don't think they should have gotten rid of Tibbs. I think Tibbs is the epitome of what they're trying to build as a culture in New York. I mean, the definition of grit, of grind, to not even try, to just try and build a team that's just built around effort and just trying to get rebounds, play good defense. Uh, yes, does he have a knack for playing guys for 45 minutes a game? Yes. And that is, you can agree and disagree upon that, how you think. But so overall, I don't think that was the right move to make. Other than that, I mean, this is another problem with this Knicks team. What did they really add? They added a Gershon Yabusele. They added a they didn't add very much at all. And they honestly, the rest of the Eastern Conference, we talk about the Orlando Magic, a team that got a lot better. We talk a lot about some of these other teams sitting over there that got a lot better. When I'm looking at the Knicks, they really just didn't do a whole lot that shocked me. And do I think they can take take the team that they had last year and run it back? Yes, but I don't think that. I just think they needed to add a couple shooters. Right now, it looks like the offense is running through Jalen Brunson, and he's the only guy that can really shoot. Yes, you have Mikal Bridges, you have Josh Hart, you have a Karl Anthony Towns, but a legitimate number 2 option, a number 3 option. Add some depth at the shooting position. Add another point guard. Add some bench pieces so you don't have to run the starting 5 so often. These are some things that we've been talking about with the Knicks that we saw that were visibly apparent against the Pacers, even against the Celtics a little bit in those first 4 games. I don't know. I just think they really needed to add some bench pieces, and they didn't really address that a whole lot.
No, they didn't do enough in the offseason. I completely agree with you. That's my big thing with all these teams, right? This was supposed to be the year to go and push all your chips in if you were a team not named the Celtics in the East, right? That was supposed to be the bell. You're going to go and try and be the team this year. And yet the only team that really did that was the Orlando Magic. Every other team, and I will give credit to the Hawks. I think they were aggressive, and I like what they did a lot this offseason. But there weren't a lot of other teams that said, I'm going all in and trying to cash in on this 1-year window of opportunity when the East is wide open, which was just really disappointing. The Cavs, another one of those teams, a team that was the 1 seed in the East last year, is basically running it back with the exact same team. Now, they bring in Lonzo Ball. I like that move. I do. I like that move. It's not the exact same team, but it's the same core of players, and they're looking to see if they can have a change. Now, injuries, brutal in the playoffs again. But right now it seems like the Cavs and the Knicks are the 2 teams that are favored to come out of the East. Nolan, what's your read on the Cleveland Cavaliers this season?
Think they'll still be the 1 seed in the East. I think that their team, they really haven't changed anything. They still have Donovan Mitchell. They still have Darius Garland. They still have Max Strus, Jared Allen. Their team is still good. They still have about the same roster they had last year, plus an addition of hopefully a healthy Lonzo Ball, who, as we all know, when he's healthy, is honestly one of the best players in the NBA. In my opinion, he's phenomenal. He's one of the best guards. He's shifty. He can shoot. So if he's healthy, I think the Cleveland Cavaliers come out of the East as the 1 seed. I think that they did it last year with about the same roster, who was healthy. They stayed healthy all year because their bench has enough depth to where their coaches can make constant subs, and they're still okay to play. I think that they'll same thing will happen this year, unless a freak injury happens, which I hope doesn't. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers are a good enough team to get out of the East as a 1 seed again. Honestly, I think I do.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to hold on to that 1 seed again. I'm going to take you through my playoffs and play-in teams, and then, like I said, I got the Magic coming out of the East this year. That's my big swing in the NBA right now. But I've got the Cavs, Knicks, Magic, Celtics, the first 4 seeds in the East. I feel like that makes the most amount of sense. Pistons, Bucks finish out that playoff spot. I think the Pistons definitely good enough to be up here, and the Bucks are just going to be powered by Giannis, and more Giannis to just get ahead of some of these other teams. The 76ers and the Hawks are going to be your 7-8 seed. Those are the teams that I expect to come out of the play-in. They're in the play-in just because, I don't think they've really separated themselves from the Pistons and the Bucks right now, and I'm not sure how they're going to go with new teams or chronically injured teams. And then I'm going to give the Pacers a shout here as that 9 seed. I think they're also separated from the rest of them. Even without Tyrese Halliburton, they're still going to be a good team. But that 10 spot is wide open. And look, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going with hope. I'm going with Wemby. I'm going with some more magic. The Wizards are going to be the 10 seed in the East this year. I love the young guys there. And I know you're looking at me crazy for that. And, valid. Completely valid, actually. But Trey Johnson is going to be a scorer coming out of Texas. I think Alex Sarr is going to take that next step. Bub Carrington's going to take that next step. Bilal Coulibaly is going to take that next step. This is not a Wizards team that's going to win a lot of games. But I don't think it's going to take more than 30 games, 35 games to be that 10 seed in the East this year. I just don't really see that being a really great spot to be in.
I can see
The conference is. You got it.
No, you're good, Nolan.
Thanks, man. I think Alex Sarr, I think this is his year to kind of step up. I think it's going to be Alex Sarr, honestly, his kind of his day. Obviously, he was a rookie last year or 2 years ago. I honestly forgot when it was already. But I think that this is going to be a huge year for him. I think the Wizards are kind of a team that, honestly, they're going to, on paper, honestly, they actually are a solid team. I really think they are, on paper, they're a good team. Obviously, you have Alex Sarr. Then they got CJ McCollum, which I think was honestly a huge addition to their team. I think that he is gonna, he's kind of gonna he's gonna be a great player. He's a great player with the Hornets, or not the Hornets, the Pelicans for the past 2 seasons. You have a lot of good players. Bub Carrington, another young player, Sharif Cooper. You have a lot of great players on this roster, a lot of young players. This is one of the youngest teams in the NBA, just based off age, and obviously, but I think that they're going to be a good team. I think, like you said, 35 teams will honestly probably make you the play-in this year, maybe even less for the Eastern Conference. But I think that, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if I see the Wizards in there, just because they had a huge down year last year, and not even like a down year, but I think this year they're going to be a huge bounce back year, have all their with a brand new, I'd say, not like a brand new, but enough players in the team to kind of help lead them now. I think that the Wizards can honestly make the play-in for sure.
I could see them get it done. If I had to go with a team out of the ordinary to go for a playoff push this year, I'm actually going to go with the Charlotte Hornets.
Woo!
Charlotte Hornets is actually one of those nice teams that's slowly starting to figure it out. I think this is their year where they actually pull it together and finally go on a nice run to make the playoff, to make a play-in, not a playoff, a play-in. I think LaMelo Ball continues to grow. They get Moussa Diabate. They got Ryan Kalkbrenner in the draft. They still have Brandon Miller as they continue to develop him. Miles Bridges. They have a lot of young pieces, a lot of good pieces on this team. Con Knipple is nothing to sneeze at. Of course, like I said, LaMelo Ball. I think this is a really good – this team on paper in the Charlotte Hornets has a lot of young talent and can make the playoffs. The question is, can they really pull it together and come together as a group and make it all happen?
Summer League champions, by the way, your Charlotte Hornets. Hang that banner for them. They had a really good summer, a really good draft, honestly. So I wouldn't be super surprised if they do make their way in. But let's go to the West, because the West is just where all the storyline and where all the intrigue lies in the NBA. Of course, at the top, you have the Thunder, who just won their first NBA title in a very, very long time. The first first time in Oklahoma City that they have won one. This is a Thunder team that brings back the exact same roster. This is a Thunder team that brings back the MVP, a Thunder team that brings back Chet and J-Dub as a big three that is only going to grow. Their defense was elite last year. Their offense was elite last year. They were one of the most efficient teams, one of the best teams by analytics in NBA history last season, and they took that all the way to an NBA title. They rose the banner tonight as they are currently hosting the Rockets. The Rockets, who were the 1 seed, made a lot of moves to get better. They move off of Jalen Green, ship him off to the Suns in exchange for the Slim Reaper. Kevin Durant joins the Houston Rockets. This is a Rockets team that had maybe the best defense in the NBA last year. They just didn't have offense. They didn't have anybody that could reliably score, which is why they got bounced in the first round. Now they add Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant is going to be that engine, that offensive engine. We're already seeing it in Game 1, leading the team in scoring. Last I looked was at 16 points when we started our show. But they're not the only ones that added, right? The Nuggets went out and added around Nikola Jokic. They continue to sign and bring in more depth with a new GM and a new head coach. I really like the moves they're making, bringing in Cam Johnson as just a pure upgrade to Michael Porter Jr. I really do love that move a lot. The Clippers continue to get better, right? Chris Paul, retirement tour with the Clippers. Is that going to be anything? Are they going to be able to continue their hot stretch down the stretch from last season? We will have to see. The T-Wolves always have Ant. Dangerous. The Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks.
Love the Mavericks.
What about what did they do to get so lucky? Cooper Flagg joins a team with Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving when he's healthy. God, that team is so good. And it shouldn't be, except that they got Cooper Flagg, and that's going to immediately fix or at least put a Cooper Flagg-sized Band-Aid over a Luka Doncic-sized hole. But the Mavericks are going to be so good. And the West is just really good in general. LeBron James' potential last season in LA with Luka, a full season of them together. How's that going to look? Can Steph Curry and his Old Man Warriors squad make another run to the NBA Finals? Is Wemby going to stay healthy this year with the Spurs? I mean, God, even when you go deep into this Western Conference, like the Blazers looked really good at the end of last season. The Suns are retooled around Devin Booker. You never know what's going to happen in Memphis with Ja and the Grizzlies. The Kings have Russell Westbrook now. I think they're going to be a mess. I don't really have a lot of hope for the Kings. The Pelicans, they have Zion, and I think if he plays a full season and is healthy, they're a dangerous team. And then the Jazz. I kind of low-key think the Jazz could be a little dangerous this year with Ace Bailey and company and a young squad. Not really going to go too far, but again, there's really only 3 teams or 2 teams in the West that I feel completely comfortable saying they're not going to do anything, which is crazy for how top-heavy this Western Conference is. There's a pretty clear top 8-9 teams right now in the West. And the teams below them, there's only 2, the Jazz and the Kings, that I feel pretty confident in saying they're not going to make the playoffs this year.
What 2 teams do you not think are going to do anything? Which were those 2?
The Jazz and the Kings.
Oh, those 2. Kevin Love is going to lead the Jazz to an NBA championship. I think the Kings could be maybe a little better than you think they will if they stay healthy, but they won't. I'm just saying that. They have DeMar DeRozan. Obviously, if he's healthy, Malik Monk, Keegan Murray, who they just signed for $1 billion for absolutely no reason at all. But obviously, you have Sabonis. I mean, Russell Westbrook with a triple-double. But the Kings probably won't do anything. They have a good roster on paper, but they're always hurt, so they just won't stick, I feel like. But maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? And then the Jazz are the Jazz. They have – not really sure. Utah's got. They obviously have Ace Bailey. He was my favorite player in the draft behind Cooper Flagg. But I think the Jazz could definitely be, maybe 30-win team. I think they had 25 last year. I think they can make more than that. I think that honestly the West is. I think you're gonna need 50 wins to make the playoffs in the West. The West is gonna be maybe more than that. I mean, it's gonna be insane.
I think 5 teams from the West. that like would miss the playoffs would make the playoffs in the East.
100%. It's gonna be insane. I can honestly see the Kings missing the playoffs with more wins than a 6 seed in the East. I'm so serious. I really can see that. Or just an example, like not the Kings, but like we'll say like the Spurs. Like if Wemby stays healthy, which I don't think a blood clot he can really control, but I think that if he manages to have no blood clots, if he can just play ball like he has been when he's healthy, I think the Kings honestly could be a top 3 team in the West. I don't think it's crazy to say that. I think Wemby. Did you see his hook shot with Hakeem? I mean, he's been training in the lab like a villain. I mean, he's gonna be legit. He's put on so much muscle, and now they're saying he's like 7'7". I mean, who knows with Wemby? He's a freak of nature. But
hey, the Shaolin monks add a couple inches to the top.
They shaved his head. He was cooking up in the lab with Hakeem and Kevin Garnett. I mean, at the end of the day, Wemby's going to be like a first out Hall of Famer, but in the meantime, he's just going to have to stay healthy.
And that's what it boils down to. Just to continue to add on what you said, I think any team in the Western Conference is going to need at least 50 to 55 wins to get at least into the 6th spot, never mind in the play-in spot. The play-in spot could be 50 to 55, but it could be even higher, between 6 and 1, especially with how loaded the Western Conference is. I could see them beating up on a lot of the bad teams, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Toronto Raptors, the Charlotte Hornets of the Eastern Conference, just beating up on all of those teams and those Western Conference seeds just continue to rise and rise in terms of their competition. I really think it's going to be a crazy year in the West this year. This is going to be the most loaded Western Conference we've seen in a long time, especially if Giannis decides to leave Milwaukee, which there is a real chance of it happening.
I think if he leaves Milwaukee, he'll just go to the Knicks, though. I feel like he wouldn't go to the West.
The one thing is, Milwaukee wants Jalen Brunson for him, and the Knicks have come out and said Jalen Brunson is untouchable.
As they should, honestly.
Jalen Brunson should not leave New York.
I think it's funny to say
is
much better, but you can't build.
You can't trade Giannis.
Yeah.
No, not at all. But I like how we say the West is so stacked. We say this every year, but this is actually going to be the year where they actually like the most insane Western Conference we've seen like in so long. I mean, obviously it's been great the past 5 years, but this year might be like the hardest year for the Western Conference team to make the playoffs. It's going to be actually nuts.
Yeah, there is legitimately 8 or 9 teams that I think you could make the argument for coming out of the West, right? Mehrob, do you have a couple top-tier contenders that you want to go through here in the West?
Here in the Western Conference, I think the Thunder, you have to respect them. They have to stay in that conversation. The Nuggets, I always will keep in that conversation because they have the best player in basketball, Nikola Jokic. Outside of them, the Rockets are kind of sneaky still in that. When I say sneaky, I mean just kind of they're good. They're really good. But in terms of being able to contend in a 7-game series, the Rockets are still there. The Clippers are there. The T-Wolves are there. The Mavericks, ? The
Mavericks.
If they can piece it together.
Kyrie comes back healthy and just as good, they will be. 100%.
And if Cooper Flag continues to play at a really high level too. I mean, this is a really loaded Maverick squad.
It's insane. They're so loaded. The Mavericks, they rigged the draft for Cooper Flag. No, I'm joking. They did.
They rigged the draft by trading Luka Doncic.
Yeah, they get their get back somehow.
Soul for a soul.
Literally.
But like even past those teams, because those are the 6 teams that I have penciled in as my playoff teams: the Thunder, Rockets, Nuggets, Clippers, T-Wolves, and Mavs. You're leaving out LeBron and Luka and the Lakers, right? And a full year of LeBron and Luka together, a full offseason of them getting, more chemistry as teammates. I know the Lakers didn't do much of anything. They bring in DeAndre Ayton, which they needed a center bad last season. I don't know if DeAndre Ayton really solves all those problems, guys, but
he was the first overall pick.
He's more than a warm body, I'll say. He
has a heartbeat. He has a pulse. And he plays basketball in the NBA.
Well, that's the thing. Like that's all Hayes was last season, right? Jackson Hayes was literally just tall. That's the only reason he was there.
6'10" and put up like 2 points a game, and then he was playing center.
Rebounds a game or something. Yeah.
Right, but now you have Ayton, who is tall, and when he decides he wants to try on the basketball court, can also be good at basketball. So like that's a major upgrade. but also it's not a big upgrade at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like a big risk, like a big swing for not too much reward. And I just don't think
How much
the
did they
Lakers.
get him for? How much did they get him for though? Do you remember?
They signed him in free agency. It wasn't crazy. I think it was like
2
two
years.
Better than what they had, and they got it for cheap. I think it was like a 2-year deal for cheap. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. So they probably kind of fleeced them. They could.
2 years, $16 million.
I mean, he was a first overall pick. That's all they had going for him. I mean, he was first overall pick. At one point, he was. So
I'd say the
give him
same
that.
thing about Markelle Fultz, though.
No,
So
that doesn't count. He has like spasms. It doesn't count. Okay, real off topic before we move on. Are we talking about the Warriors at all? I mean, they still have Steph Curry.
yeah,
About the Warriors.
let's talk about the Warriors a little
There needs
bit.
to be a
Nolan.
discussion. I think the Warriors they've been left out, and I think the Warriors, even adding Al Horford, who's still playing at a very good level for his age, I think he's still going to be a good team. I think he can still make the playoffs for sure. They still have Steph Curry, the best 3-point shooter ever, and in the league currently. They still have Jimmy Butler. When he's healthy, he's legit. Draymond Green, who likes to hit people, but it works out. Moses Moody, Gary Payton, Pods, whose name I still can't say. I can never say his last name. But, I mean, they still have the same team from last year, plus a few extra guys. They could still be a playoff team, I think.
I agree. I do. The issue comes in, where are you putting this team, right? You're not
Yes.
putting them above the Thunder, right? You're not putting them against the Rockets. You're not taking them against the Nuggets. I'm not taking them against the Clippers.
I mean,
I'm not taking them against the Mavs. I'm not taking them against the Timberwolves. That puts them in the
I think I'd take him over the Timberwolves, honestly.
The
think
Timberwolves
so.
have been to 2 straight Western Conference Finals, so I'm not
Yeah,
going to
but
start
You gotta
doubting.
stop sleeping on
I don't know,
Anthony.
man. I think this is gonna be a year where I think it's gonna be Steph Curry's last year. He's gonna go out on a bang. He's gonna win the finals and just tell me to screw it. He's the GOAT.
So that's the thing.
I don't know.
That's why I say the Western Conference is so deep, because the Lakers and the Warriors are good. That's not a hot take. They're good basketball teams, like, undoubtedly. But I don't think they're top 6 teams in their conference. I think they're 7 and 8.
The thing is, though, both of those teams would be the 1 seed in the East. I genuinely believe so.
They
1
would
or 2
be
seed in the
top-
East.
They would be top
6 in the West.
5.
3.
I don't know
100%.
about 1. I think they definitely be playoff.
I
teams.
think the Lakers. Yeah, you're right. Top 5. Okay, top 5 for sure, or top 4. But
Top 4.
in the West, we're not maybe even top 6, which is crazy.
That's the thing. That's just how crazy this Western Conference is right now. But who's the dark horse, right? There are, I think, like we've gone over, the top 6 teams are pretty close. But that doesn't mean that no one else in the West can make a jump. Is it going to be the Warriors? Is it going to be the Lakers? Can the Spurs be something with a healthy Wemby? The Suns, no KD, but they're going to have a little bit of a defense this year, and Devin Booker is going to be able to take over games like he was at the beginning of the Suns dynasty. Malawach down there playing center for them, I think, is going to be a huge, huge get. But the Blazers also playing really good. Denny Avdia at the end of last season really came into his own. You add Drew Holiday to that mix, and I know he doesn't necessarily want to play for the Blazers, but he's going to suit up and play for the Blazers. Having his leadership, you pair that up with Scoot Henderson, who really started to come into his own at the end of last season. The Blazers are a kind of dark horse team as well over here in the West.
The entire West is the dark horse team.
I know.
Nuts.
That's why it's tough.
The Spurs, I think, are the Spurs and the Mavs, I think, are the 2 real dark horse teams right now. And if we had to pick one in the Western
fair.
Conference,
I would go with. I mean,
Maybe the Blazers.
I wouldn't say the dark horse, just the Warriors, because they're not making the playoffs. I think it just has to be the Warriors.
Warriors.
Honestly, the Trailblazers are legit though. The Trailblazers could make a play in too though. So much. There's no like for sure answer. The West is just a bloodbath.
Yep.
Right? It's just you throw out a team you think is gonna be okay. Sure, play it team, dark horse.
Probably.
It's
All
just how
right.
it is in the West.
We've talked a lot about the West here. Who do you guys have coming out of it here? Because it's going to be tricky. Can the Thunder go back-to-back? Can they cement themselves as a dynasty? Or is it someone to come and spoil the party for them? We'll start with you, Nolan, then Mehrob, and I'll tell you who I got coming out of the West after that.
I think this year, there's two teams. I'll narrow it down to one, but the first team I have is the Nuggets. Obviously, it's Nico. I think it's the Nuggets. I think that they played great last year. Obviously, Jokic is still the best player in the NBA, in my opinion. I think he's just still so good. Playing just offense, playing defense, rebounding, shooting, whatever. He just does it all. Christian Braun has got signed for that new extension. They still have Cam. They just got, like I said, Cam Johnson's a great addition instead of what they had. I think, and Jamal Murray. I mean, they just have such a good team, and they went to the Eastern Conference Finals or Western Conference Finals. They were a great team. They just couldn't get it done at 7. The other team, I think, honestly, I think it's gonna be the LA Clippers. I think that this team, I think that they're just such a good team. Yes, granted, injuries are a problem, but they did just sign Brook Lopez. Obviously, they have Kawhi Leonard, Ivan Zubac, one of the best. I think he should have won Most Improved Player of the Year last year. I just think he was that good. But I think the Clippers or the Nuggets, but if I had to choose it down between one of those two, I genuinely believe the Clippers could be the team to come out of the West this year. I think they were a great team last year. They took the Nuggets to 7, who the Nuggets also took the Thunder to 7. So I think that they honestly could have beat the Thunder if they managed to play them. But I think the Clippers are the team to come out of the West this year.
The Clippers. I like it. I like it a lot. The Clippers are a team that haven't made a conference final yet. It's in their career as a franchise.
Their year. This is their year. They're due for it.
I could see it. I could definitely see it. I personally am rolling with the other team that you mentioned, Nolan, in the Denver Nuggets, because they have been a team that not only won the championship 3 years ago, but for the last 2 years, it's been the Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic show, especially last year. Trading MPJ was crucial for this team. Bringing in Cam Johnson is going to be a big-time upgrade. I really like the way this team looks right now, and I have them coming out of the West. On the Eastern side of things, you know who I'm going to say. It's going to be the Celtics. It's Celtics. It's Boston. It has to be. They're the best team when healthy with Jason Tatum in the lineup in the Eastern Conference. They're better than the Knicks, I think, on paper. I think they're going to retool their style of play, get some more interior ball going, get some twos going, get their mid-range going instead of just heavily relying on the three-point as much. They'll still rely on it a lot, but not nearly as much as they were hucking up 63 pointers a game like they were in the postseason. And then we're going to finally see the Celtics Nuggets finals that I've said is going to happen for the last 3 years, where we might actually see it this year.
All right, I like it. I'm on the same page as you. You took the exact words right out of my mouth. Give me the Denver Nuggets. Nikola Jokic is going to come out and dominate yet again, as he always does.
Fourth MVP.
Dude, legit though, it's not that crazy because he's just so good at basketball. Oh my god,
he should have 4. He should have 4 right now. In my humble opinion, he should have 4. But
you could make an argument he should have 5 at this point.
Not this. Oh, he should have won 5 back to back.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He could have won last year. I don't think that's that outrageous. He could have won the year that Joel Embiid won as well. Right, that's 5 straight.
Giannis is insane too, but this is the Jokic show. Jokic is insane.
But I'm going to the Nuggets coming out of the West, right? Because you have Jokic, because you continue to build around him, because of the big move moving off of MPJ and moving into Cam Johnson. I love that move so much. They play the same role, except Cam Johnson is better at basketball. Just
and
point
more
blank.
Reliable. Flat out more reliable.
Exactly. And you have a guy that if he can step up, be more reliable, that they needed that third star. Jamal Murray is going to be better this year. He's going to be healthier. And now you have your Michael Porter Jr. stand-in. That's a recipe for success. I think the Nuggets not only make but win the NBA Finals this year. They take down the Orlando Magic in 6 games. That is an ugly, ugly NBA Finals, and I'm sure the national media would love a Denver versus Orlando Finals. But I've seen the script, boys. It's what's happening.
Throwing up in my mouth thinking about that. Ugh, that's disgusting.
The ratings, the ratings, guys.
The ratings would be horrible. That would
be worse than the Pacers and Thunder.
That was cinema, though. But, God, that was... Oh, my God. Don't even say that. Ugh. Gagging. No, I'm joking. I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at seeing the Magic go to the finals. Because they didn't go to the finals with Shaq, did they?
They
No,
went
they did.
with Superman.
Shaq and Penny. Oh, with Dwight. Who they
Dwight
lost to the
Howard.
Lakers? Oh, who did they lose to?
They lost to
Celtics?
the Lakers. They got swept by the
Was
Lakers.
right?
Kobe Bryant.
But that's what
That's
I've
all right.
got there for you, boys. I know it's ugly, but that's just sometimes how the season goes. Last thing I want to talk about for the NBA here, we got to talk about the MVP. We talked about it a little bit, but who do you guys have to win the most valuable player in the NBA?
His name's Cade Cunningham. Cade. I genuinely believe he can. Even as a Pistons fan, if he plays the level that he's been playing at the past season now, I think he genuinely could win the MVP. If he does well enough in the postseason, I think he could. I think that he's been playing at an elite level. He has just a great court presence. He doesn't. He's in, his only downside is he tends to turn the ball over a lot. And if he manages to work on that, if he can manage to hold it down, going from 5 turnovers a game or 6 to 1, 2, maybe 3, I think he could be in serious contention for MVP. But realistically, I think it's going to be Jokic, most likely. Jokic, or it's even the same 3. It's going to be Jokic, Giannis, or SGA again, most likely. But I would love to see Cade do it. I'd love to see that.
I don't 100% know if Cade has the offensive toolkit to get it done. I know defensively he's really good, but offensively I'm a little bit hesitant to say a definitive Cade Cunningham consistently night in, night out. Who I'm not gonna say that about is Luka Doncic, because I have Luka Doncic leading the Lakers to 60 wins this year, 60 to 65 wins this year. I have Luka Doncic going off for 25 to 30 points, looking like his prime self, going off for Mr. Triple Double with his magician-esque self. Luka Doncic is already shredded 20 pounds off right now, and he's not fat Doncic. He's not fat Luka.
Skinny Luka. He's here, and it's scary.
He really is. So I have him going as my MVP, and I think they're going to be really good this year.
Yeah, no, I've got a top 5 MVP ladder. Cade Cunningham, number 5 on that list. So I think there's a real shot there for him. But the top 4 is the top 4. I've actually got Shea at number 4. I think he's not super likely to repeat just because voter fatigue. And I think there's going to be great players at the top. I'm putting Giannis at number 3. If he leads this Bucks team to a top 2 seed in the East, he's going to win MVP. I just don't know if he can do that because he is going to be the team. But Giannis, definitely a lot of value on that one. And then it comes down to Luka or Jokic. And at the end of the day, God, I want to pick Luka so bad, but they robbed Jokic, or I won't say robbed. They didn't give it to Jokic last year. And if he puts up numbers similar to that, I think he takes it again. Luka's going to win one eventually. And maybe this is the year LA's got that big market. But I trust the Nuggets just a little bit more to win more games, and that is important when it comes to the MVP race. So I'm running it back with Jokic. He wins his 4th in 6 years. He is really good at basketball, guys. Sorry to break it to you.
He's going to go down as one of the best big men in basketball ever.
He's going to go down as one of the best players in basketball, period.
He's going to end his career as the top 10 player. He already is top 10, honestly, in some lists.
I don't know if he's quite top 10 yet. I don't know.
I don't know if top 10 yet, man.
I think if he wins one more MVP, he'll be a top 5 player of all time.
5? Nah.
Hey, man, you don't win 4 MVPs in 6 years and not top 5. It's all I'm saying.
Is he better than Larry Bird?
Yeah.
All time?
Yeah.
That's a tough one, actually.
As a player on player, yeah, but as a team player, I don't know. Larry Bird would dish the rock, and he could swing that John. But so can Giannis or Jokic, though. That's the thing. We'll have to see. At the end of the year, I'll let you know if he's the greatest top 5 of all time. I'll let you know. Just remember to remind me. Just remind me at the end of the year. I'll let you know.
Real quick before we move on to baseball, I'm going to need your official lock it in triple threat predictions for the season. Who are your NBA champions? How many games? Who is the loser?
Ooh.
Nuggets.
Clippers. Ooh, Nuggets and 7. Against who?
Celtics.
Oh, Celtics. Clippers over Oh, Clippers over the Bucks in 6.
Ooh, I like it. All right, lots of
Okay.
ways we can go. Clippers, Bucks in 6. Nuggets, Celtics in 7. That what you said? And then the Nuggets and Magic in 6. That's for me. Y'all stay laughing, all right? You just wait and see until Paolo Banchero wins MVP this season. And
God.
I love him.
Market, but what about the viewers in the market? They said no.
we can't have it 2 years in a row. What are we gonna do?
Oh no, the viewership is down. Let's give Paolo Banchero the MVP and take him to the NBA Finals. Why not? Sure. Honestly, I'm down for it. It'd be so cool.
If it doesn't happen, the NBA is rigged.
The Magic versus the Jazz in the NBA Finals.
It's rigged by Nolan Jambor if it doesn't happen.
That's on me. Sorry, if the Paolo Banchero and Friends team doesn't make it to the NBA Finals, that one's on me.
If it happens, it's rigged by Jeremy Lapidus.
This is unbelievable.
The ratings are just too much. But let's get into some baseball because we're talking about the championship for basketball, but it's game 1 right now. It is currently the World Series in the MLB. The Fall Classic starts on the 24th, 3 days from now. The Toronto Blue Jays back in the World Series for the first time since the 90s, 1993 to be exact, taking on the Dodgers who were here and raised the trophy just last season. A hard-fought battle coming out of the AL as the Toronto Blue Jays outlasted the Mariners in 7 games. Behind George Springer, a 3-run blast in the bottom of the 8th inning to give them a 4-3 lead. A magical moment for a all-time clutch player. That one's going in the history books. Now the Blue Jays have to take on a team that's just been perfect this postseason. The Dodgers have been so good, it's hard to describe, right? Shohei Ohtani on his last game in Game 4, the closeout to sweep their opponents in the NL conference, in the NLCS, NL Championship Series. Shohei Ohtani, 6 innings, no runs, 3 walks, 10 strikeouts. On top of that, and there's more, of course, because it's Shohei Ohtani, 3 home runs. That is arguably the greatest game ever played in the history of baseball. Point blank period. Arguably the greatest game ever played by a single athlete in this sport that's like 500 years old. That is what we're watching. That is what we're witnessing. Before that, we had a 8-inning gem where we had Blake Snell face the minimum. And then right after that, in between those two, Yoshi Yamamoto with the first complete game by a starting pitcher in 7 years. This is the Dodgers starting lineup that is clicking. This is the Dodgers starting lineup, starting rotation that is dangerous. And I don't know if the Blue Jays really stand a chance here, boys. I'm scared. I'm scared for them. I really am.
I said this yesterday. I said 4-0 sweep inbound, and Mehrob just liked my message, so I don't think he agrees with it. But this Dodgers team right here, right now, is the reason there will be a salary cap in 2027. It has to be. You have 4 aces on your team, plus Shohei Ohtani. I mean, what are you supposed to do when you have possibly the greatest, not only baseball, but one of the greatest performances in a single game of any sport ever, when your ERA is technically -3 because you let up no runs and had 3 home runs? I mean, what are you supposed to do? I mean, this Dodgers team, we all said this when we were at GSMC. We all said the Dodgers are going to win the World Series, and I said this is possibly the best on paper roster that we've ever seen. And I was people said some things to me that they didn't agree with me. And look at them now. They are gonna win the World Series. They are going to win the World Series.
Tell him, Nolan.
Vladimir Guerrero.
Tell him.
It's almost saying. But I'm just saying. I mean, this team is the best team on paper ever assembled. And when they win the World Series 2 years in a row against the Vladimir Guerrero-led Blue Jays, granted, I want the Blue Jays to win, I think they deserve it. I think that this is a team that has really earned it. Going, playing a 7-game series against the Mariners, who obviously Mariners who I'm not kind of happy the Blue Jays won though because I didn't want a West Coast World Series. I respect the Mariners fans, but I mean this Blue Jays team really just doesn't stand a chance. I don't think they have enough pitching to match up against the hitting the Dodgers have, and they're hitting against 4 aces. They're gonna start. They have 4 legit aces on their team that could honestly just sweep them. So I don't know. I think the Dodgers ended up winning the series 4-0, unfortunately, but that's the game of baseball. Whoever's got the deepest pockets wins.
Yeah, and I think to your point, I don't know, Mehrob, if you think that the Blue Jays really have a shot in this one. I'm not going to argue with him too much on that, honestly. But this broader point and what this is going to talk about is the salary cap. I'm going to sit here right now, and I've said this for a couple months, but I'm going to put it officially on record here. October 21st, there will be an MLB lockout. Because the players are never going to agree to a salary cap, and the owners want a salary cap. The players want a salary floor, which I think is the way to do it. Make teams spend money. But you're never getting a salary cap in baseball. I think that's the broader discussion. Blake Snell supposed to be on the mound for Game 1 of the World Series on Friday, October 24th. I just don't think the Blue Jays have it in them. I don't. Vlad Guerrero's been playing incredible this postseason, nearly hitting 500, 1,500 OPS, 6 home runs. He's been everything you need him to be. Obviously, George Springer stepped up with huge power for them, exactly what they needed. If you can get vintage Max Scherzer, I'm talking myself into the Blue Jays a little bit, vintage Max Scherzer like you did against the Mariners, that's a game right there. Kevin Gausman, Chris Bassett. Maybe it's not a sweep, guys. Maybe it's a 6-game series here. And that Blue Jays offense always has the threat to explode if they can get to the bullpen, which has been really weak for the Dodgers. They've got a chance just because of injuries. But that starting pitching rotation has been just a buzzsaw, and they have not lost on the road yet, which if the Toronto Blue Jays can't clean up at home, they're going to be in big trouble. So I think it really does come down to how the first 2 games of the World Series go, Mehrob.
Yeah, I agree big time. The only thing I'm going to say is I think the MLB, I'm not going to say MLB is going to rig it, but I think the Blue Jays are going to win a couple games here. At least one. I think they're going to split it going. They're going to split it going into Game 5. It's going to be 2-2 going into Game 5, and then the Dodgers just end up blowing the thing wide open and winning the next 2 games by a pretty wide margin. I just personally think that's how it's going to go. I think the Dodgers win in 6 games, but this Dodgers team is an absolute juggernaut. I agree with you that there's going to be an MLB lockout because of these MLB contracts, because of the way that these teams have been built, at least as of late, looking at the Dodgers specifically. And I don't see things changing. I think the players want one thing, the owners want another, and it's going to be a big-time issue for Rob Manfred to get these 2 sides aligned here, to get any sort of deal done.
It's going to be tough. It really is. The owners always find a way to win out in the end. Baseball owners, famously stingy. I think it's really bad for the sport if they lock out. I don't think they can afford a lockout right now. But that's a conversation for another day. I'm taking not the Lakers, excuse me. I got basketball on the brain. I'm taking the Los Angeles Dodgers to win 2 straight World Series, 6 games this time for me. What do you all have?
I got, unfortunately, the Dodgers. I think they'll probably win. I think they win in 5. I think they win in 6. I think they win in 6. I want the Blue Jays to win. I really do, but I just think the Dodgers team is just too well-rounded, and they've been playing obviously just phenomenal this end of the postseason and the end of the regular season. So I think they win in 6. Dodgers do.
Dodgers in 6. Shohei Ohtani wins his first World Series MVP.
I believe it. I believe it. I'm all in. There's lots of good stuff to watch around the world of sports today. The first NBA game coming down to the wire right now. 1-point game, less than a minute to go. Rockets currently up. Kevin Durant going to the free throw line here. But remember, you can check us out everywhere that you get your podcast. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Amazon Podcasts. You can find us on Castbox, on Apple Podcasts, and more. YouTube at Triple Threat Show, Twitch at 3 Threat Show, Instagram at 3 Threat Show _, and on TikTok at the _Triple Threat Show. We have been your hosts, Jeremy Lapidus, Nolan Jambor, and Mehrob Fatemi. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching the show, following along. We will be back tomorrow morning talking all things football. That is college football. That is NFL football. Rankings, power rankings, top 25, big questions from the weekend that was in football. Make sure you check us out tomorrow for that, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.